All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Record, or what used to be On the Record, as I will now look to focus on interviewing people that are more involved with the Bitcoin space as opposed to other general projects. So, this is perhaps the first episode of Understanding Bitcoin, and more specifically, understanding the Bitcoin mempool, which is what you see on my shirt. I know it's a little hard to see. I wanted to bring you guys the view of the marina here in Dubai, and I am joined in person by the one and only Soft Simon from Twitter. Of course, his name is Simon, and Simon is the brains and the mastermind. I guess this was your idea behind the website I show every single day on this channel, and I'm going straight to screen share for it, mempool.space. Welcome, Simon, to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
You may want to speak a little bit louder into the mic. So I already have the screen share up. So we're going to do a brief introduction of you, and then we'll probably take off screen share to talk general, and then go back into screen share to talk about some of the technical side of the mempool and how it works. It's going to be a great educational series. So before we dive in to the mempool, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started, how it's going. This is, of course, your Twitter. So guys, come on, you got to follow this man. I only show his website every single day on the channel. Simon, just give us a little bit of an intro and tell us about yourself and how you got started in the space.
Well, yeah, I got into Bitcoin for real in 2017 and started to follow everything every day, learning everything I can. And then it was a year later, 2018, I started this mempool idea. And the original idea was to visualize the Bitcoin network, visualize the blocks, visualize the mempool, and then from there, like since a year ago, it's also been developed into a full block explorer where you can search for any transaction, any block, and the main features now of the site is the transaction tracking and the fee estimation that people use the most.
Okay, so let's go into that. So I actually just recently realized you had low priority, medium priority down here, because I usually look at the last three, at the next three blocks, and I estimate my own fee and what that fee should be. And we're definitely going to talk about all that for people as well. But it's great. So I have not been using this site as a block explorer. I'm trying to support my friends at Blockstream to use their block explorer when I need it. But to be honest, like to this day, like the simplest block explorer to use, unfortunately, is still blockchain.info. They just do a very good job in simply showing you the input and output. Because when I look at lots of other block explorers, it's like it's hard to see where your transaction is coming from.
But I've been trying to do it as simple as possible.
Go for it.
So if you click,
let me click because this is where I learned better.
If you open a block, like
I've never even done this.
You scroll down and you see the transactions. I mean,
you see every single transaction that took place in that block.
If you click open a transaction, I mean, it's very similar to the blockchain.info structure, and which I also modeled it a little bit from. They have the same.
Right. So let's open a transaction because guys, for those that don't know how Bitcoin transactions work, and oh man, we can talk about. This could be a very. Oh wow, this is a multi-sig. So you
can click on the specific transactions. You have to go to it.
Okay. So before we do that, right? In a transaction. Okay. So here we go. So in a transaction, one side is the input address, and the other side is the output addresses, and there will always be at least two.
No, they can be everything from one to multiple.
But don't you? Oh yeah, because if you send everything over and there's no change, okay.
Exactly.
So there could be one. Usually there are at least two, because unless you're sending the full amount of what's in your wallet to a single address, you're actually sending this entire amount, and these two numbers, if you sum them up, is a combination to that minus the transaction fee. Because the change will go back to the original owner. But technically, you're not supposed to know which one is the change and which one is
you can't know
the other one.
You can guess.
You can kind of guess, right? So here in this particular transaction, this is a multi-sig. So two out of three people had to sign off, and we can assume that 0.011 and a half and 5 Bitcoin was sent. The rest of it is probably the mining fee. And this is the change going back to the original sender. So if you're the receiver and you click on your address, this is what you get. So as a receiver, you're watching your own address, and now you're looking at, well, what is the history of this transaction? So this is you receiving from here, and these are the prior transactions that contributed to this.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a pretty neat looking block explorer.
You realize
hey guys,
now?
You learn something new every day. I did not even know this was also a block explorer. Cool. Yeah, so that's great. Usually I also take a look at the graph, and you always default to the live 24-hour graph. I like looking at the weekly chart.
Yeah.
And because it gives me a visual, and this is a good week, actually. We're starting off the week, and we're only at 121 blocks.
Yeah.
So this is really, really good. We have a chance to cut into the 100 blocks this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, usually it coincides with weekends that activity on transaction goes down, but it's also when the price is consolidating, then you see much less activity. So when the price is going down and that's the weekend, then you get extra, then you cleared in the mempool much more than usual. And so during the weekday, or also if the price is pumping, then usually the fees are spiking.
All right, let's talk, man, where do we begin? Do we talk about the history of the fees? We want to talk about SegWit. A little more on how you got started, man. When did you get started? When did you decide to do this? I'm going to turn off screen share. We'll get back to it. Let's hear, a more advanced version of Simon's story as to how he got into all of this.
Yeah, what do you want to know? Bitcoin or?
Yeah, when did you get into Bitcoin? When did you like it? What was your history prior to Bitcoin? What did you do? You a developer?
Yeah, I was a software developer, and I came from the libertarian Austrian economic path. So I was interested in sound money, gold, and stuff. And then when I realized that Bitcoin is, I used Bitcoin for several years, but people told me about it, just said it was a currency, online currency. So I didn't see what the interesting part was. But when people told me it was digital gold and stuff, and it has a scarce limit, then I was like, oh, wow, I need to start looking into this stuff for real.
Cool, sorry. If you're gonna face me, let's move your mic over to the other side, this way, because if you're facing perfect.
So basically, it wasn't until 2017 where I also at the same time decided to move to Malta from Sweden because I couldn't stand that place.
Nice, Malta, the home of the Understanding Bitcoin conference.
Exactly.
Were you there in 2019?
I was not.
We got to get you at the next one, man, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
But
100% we'll get you at the next one.
Malta is it's a free place. So I had a lot of time on my hand there when I was doing mostly freelance. So I was looking into Bitcoin every day. And after you get to the level of you understand Bitcoin, you understand the impact of the world. You just I just want to work for Bitcoin, and I want to earn in Bitcoin. I want to do everything for Bitcoin, right? So that's why I tried to find something I could do. And just this idea of making a visualization for the blocks was just a random idea I had. So
excellent. And what you were a developer, what were you what code languages do you code in?
It was mostly like front-end JavaScript stuff. I was doing like set-top boxes for TVs, user interfaces, and point-of-sale devices, and stuff like that. So I've been interested in doing user experiences.
And you just got here to Dubai. Do you make it public where you were the last few years?
Well,
you don't have to.
I've been traveling around mostly.
You've pretty much been a digital nomad for half a decade now.
Yeah, but my base has been Malta, so that's where I have my.
All right.
I have my home. Yeah.
Let's talk more. Let's talk a little bit about the fee estimation. I'm gonna go back to screen share. Fee estimation is very challenging.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gonna go to one more page. We're gonna go. It's always challenging to start Googling. So
what the fee?
Bool It's charts.wooble. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I actually asked Willie for one of these charts. So he's got a couple of charts estimating. So he's got Bitcoin SegWit adoption and Bitcoin network properties. Let's go, or Bitcoin network throughput.
Yeah, yeah.
So not the one I was looking for, though we could talk about that chart. Bitcoin congestion, maybe that's the one I'm thinking. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. And that's, and I can add SegWit adoption to that. So things got a little out of hand in 2017 with the fees. And do you remember that time well?
Of course, I was monitoring it every day. I remember.
So
yeah.
I can tell you what I remember about that.
Yep.
Is not and it's kind of like I knew there were spam transactions, and you know there were spam transactions. The reason I knew there were spam transactions is because I personally witnessed transactions in deep cold storage wallets that have not had any transactions since 2012, 2013,
Yeah.
and clearly these people have not moved their Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, they're getting these 1 Satoshi inputs in wallets with significant amounts now because they were very old. They're getting 1 Satoshi inputs. And these 1 Satoshi inputs somehow magically have like hundreds of inputs into that input, making these 1 Satoshi transactions cost tens, if not hundreds of dollars. It was clearly a spam attack to make Bitcoin look slow and expensive at its most like potentially vulnerable point.
Yeah, because we were in the middle of this war between the big blockchain and the Bitcoin chain. So they had, I guess they had to show this, have this narrative and show, look, Bitcoin doesn't scale and stuff. So I haven't looked into it myself if it was actual spam, but it sure looks like it.
Yeah.
So,
oh no, we looked into it back then, and it definitely was spam. There was a home button.
Yeah, and I mean today we are having much more user adoption than we had back then, and the fees are so much lower right now.
Significantly lower.
And we are having so much throughput right now.
And having said that, SegWit is still barely cracking 50% adoption.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating back then because then after SegWit finally got in, everyone started saying, "Oh, where are you?" They still tell me, "Oh, Tone, you said that fees would immediately become smaller if SegWit gets in." I'm like, "No, you fools! SegWit has to get adopted, and blockchain.info still hasn't done it."
Yeah, they are one of the biggest like culprits for spamming or filling up the mempool with legacy transactions. But I mean, it takes a lot of time for these big companies, and for the past few years there's been a lot of improvements, and the two biggest one is batching for withdrawals from exchanges and SegWit, and that has contributed to that the fees can be so low today because it's more optimized, and it makes more sense to optimize before you do silly things like increasing the block size for no reason.
Oh, right.
Because there's so much. I monitor the mempool every day, and I see there's a lot of efficiencies that can be so much better. Like for example, when we usually have like a huge stack of mempool transactions in the queue that are super huge. Like one transaction is 100 kilobytes because there's so much input, and there's consolidations from probably exchanges or maybe like a service like BitPay. They receive many tiny payments that has to be consolidated, and for each input, each transaction, you have to save the signature data, and the signature data is very heavy. And as soon as we get Schnorr inputs segregation, all these inputs in one transaction, all the input signatures can become just one. And calculations have shown that will be like a 30% increase of the efficiency of the blockchain as from what we have right now. So there's a lot of optimizations coming, which is pretty cool.
I would love to dive more into that, but I'm going to back up to something you said. And in your statements, you said before increasing the block size.
Yeah.
And that could create an impression that a block size could actually be raised, which something I learned in early 2017 when I started debating Roger against a bigger block.
Yeah.
As it's irrelevant whether I want a bigger block size. It can't happen Like, it's irrelevant that you want to have a cup of coffee with me on the moon right now. We just can't get there.
Yeah.
Right. This was something I tried to explain to people about a bigger block. It's irrelevant if you want to do it, if it's actually impossible.
Yeah, but it has been known for like 10 years from people like Hal Finney, Peter Todd. They knew this in 2010, 2009, that Bitcoin couldn't really scale as a decentralized network. So it's just denialism from this kind of people that they got used to their coffee payments, and now when it suddenly doesn't work, they just can't accept that. So they have to find someone to blame, like what the developer can be fired to fix this problem or something like that. They don't seem to see that in order to keep Bitcoin decentralized, we can't have the cost of running a node just grow at any speed. Like, it has to be throttled to somehow. We have to create this fee market. But it doesn't say that we can't have big blocks in the future. I mean, as soon as we find optimizations or way to have bigger blocks but make the storage smaller, we would increase the block size immediately, because it's not about the block size, right?
No, but it's a little bit about the block size, because getting a bigger block. Well, we got first of all. Okay, let's back up.
Yeah.
SegWit is a bigger block.
Yeah, exactly. It's a double.
It is a bigger block, but it's a bigger block as a soft fork.
Exactly.
So if you're gonna have a bigger block, it has to be done as a soft fork.
Yeah.
Hard forks are not gonna happen. The only way Bitcoin will ever get a hard fork is if the alternative is obvious and instant death of the protocol.
Yeah, and many people don't realize that Bitcoin has never hard forked and forced all its users jump onto a new chain. That's only if you look at Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum, they're hard forking every month or something, every 3 months, changing all the rules, they're changing the monetary policy. They can change anything, can be changed in a hard fork, and you're forcing your users. But Bitcoin has never hard forked. If you download a Bitcoin software from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it's going to sync with the latest chain. Doesn't matter if it's running, if you have SegWit and stuff, because it's still backwards compatible. So I think, and many people say that Bitcoin will probably never hard fork, because it's just going to be too messy. You're going to get a split in the network, right?
Right.
Because you're going to get people stuck on the old chain, old software, and you're going to get people that don't agree with the new change. So it's going to be a split. So it's super dangerous to make a hard fork.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not going to happen.
Right.
And
So
the more time goes by, the less chance of a hard fork there's going to be.
And people don't realize it. Like, we have a mutual friend that's hanging out with us, and not going to drop any names. Trying to. Oh, we just found a block. Average block fee was 12 sats per byte. Okay. All right, we'll get to that, because I was going to talk about Ethereum a little bit, but we can talk about Ethereum later if we get to the shit points. I'm already not happy with this. We're gonna talk about this, right? Your high priority is identical to your medium priority.
Yeah.
I'm already bothered by this, right? Yeah. So how are you estimating the fees? Because I've had so much experience in databases and using data in the risk analysis modeling that I can already suggest a couple of things just by looking at this.
Well, you have to understand with fee estimation, it's all about predicting the future, which is uncertain in Bitcoin, because you never know when suddenly transactions are going to come in fast or slow or anything. So I mean, doing estimation in general is very hard, and there are different kind of methods and approaches to watch. And there's a site called whatthefee.io, I think, where you can see based on
that's not Felix's site, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Felix Weiss.
Yeah. It's Felix Weiss site.
What was it? Bitcoin Traveler? What's his nickname?
I don't know. But
it's been a while since I've seen him. Felix, shout out if you're watching.
His site is based on statistics, like what are the chances that you're going to get your transaction in, and sometimes that could cause the fee that should just seem quite high. But the Mempool approach is more the Mempool based, so it might be better for experienced users. Like you said, you're just watching the block, right? And that's maybe if you're more experienced, you look at the block, you see what's coming up, and then you can make a decision out of that. So that's more. And the fee estimation I've shown below here is just based out of the
So here's my suggestion, right? Yeah. Clearly, your suggested fee is from this data.
Yeah, exactly.
But I strongly recommend for the high priority fee to use this data because you have your recent blocks and you know the time of your recent blocks. So you can statistically already see that the last 4 blocks were found at an average rate of greater than 10 minutes per block. We have 7 minutes between these two, 6 minutes between these two, and 5 minutes between these two. So from this data alone, we already know that statistically, this number is on the low side. So what I would do is I would estimate the high priority fee as the average fee of the 2 to 3 blocks that have just completed, and slightly adjust for the time between those blocks, or not at all. But the moment this block was found, and this block had a 12 sat per byte fee, and this block had a 12 sat per byte fee, this one 63, this one 73, you can almost exponentially weight this. So this high priority should be at least 12 sat per byte, because that was the prior 2 blocks. So that would be my high priority. My medium priority would probably be something in these 2 blocks. And my low priority would probably be something between these 2 blocks, if not the third, or like the difference between here, that this is the 3rd block coming up, and this is 5. So my low priority would be somewhere between 8 and 5, just to give it a little bit of a spread. Right now, this to me would be closer to 15, right?
It's like this, the combination of these blocks here, like medium on these 2 and the low are all these 3.
So I'm looking at this right now. It's been 4 minutes. For me, a high priority transaction right now would be between 15 and 20 cents. That would almost guarantee me to be in the next block. My medium priority would be on par. I'm okay with your medium priority. But your low priority, I think, is a little bit too high. So I would lower that to something like 7 sat per byte. That would be me. That would be how I would estimate.
Again, there's so many approaches you can do. And what we're requiring is test all this method and test the accuracy and that's work that still needs to be done. And
hey guys, you're like BTC Pay server. It was just a grassroots passion project that now has some funding, some anonymous donations. I don't know if you want to announce who some of those anonymous donations have been recently.
Yeah, we are completely community funded. It started out with just individual sponsors, and we have some high people. We had like just yesterday, we got a very generous donation from Jack Dorsey himself.
There we go. We weren't sure if we could announce that, but now we can. So I know, like, look, Jack and the Bitcoin community have this love-hate relationship, because one day Jack is good and the next day Jack's a socialist. But
well, it seems Jack is a Bitcoiner, so he's really. It seems like he's sitting around with his wallet and just maybe randomly donate people. And also, we are going to announce some enterprise sponsors in the coming weeks as well.
Excellent.
So the whole project is now totally funded and operated by the Bitcoin community. It's like it's the perfect. It's the perfect way to.
For now, I've been doing my best to contribute with free dinners.
Nice.
So we got one more while I'm still in town. So that's how I'm trying to contribute. But I did contribute to BTC Pay server, so as a donation. So I gotta hook you guys up as well a little bit. But yeah, guys, please support the project. This is what Bitcoin. This is what separates Bitcoin. Is there a donation address on this website?
Yeah, just go to the About page, and we have. You click on become a sponsor, then you get an invoice to. We have both Bitcoin on-chain, Lightning, and Liquid.
So what are these people? What have they done?
It's everyone that's sponsored at least 0.01 Bitcoin.
Oh.
Then your face is on there.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
A lot of people do it for the status, sake of the status as well.
Oh, no, I don't care about status. All right,
and here's the community integration. This is all the open source apps that we are now integrating with. So if you're using the Phoenix Lightning wallet, for example, you will.
Oh, we should talk about Lightning. Yeah. Jesus, this will be forever, right?
Yeah. What about Ethereum?
Oh yeah, it's a shit coin. Like maybe we'll get there. And And you guys don't have a big team, right?
No, I'm the lead developer and Vays is the lead of operations. So we make a great team. And now, past few months, we are starting to get more and more individual contributors on the GitHub project. So we are hopefully we can grow into a bigger developer community as well.
All right, we just found 2 blocks in a row.
Yeah, that's why I was
processing.
saying it's
yeah, look at that.
It's all very random when the blocks
Yeah,
come in. So
yeah,
you can't look at the previous block and count 10 minutes. It's all very random.
I know, but that's still how I would do it. Like again, if I was sending a Bitcoin transaction right now, I would use somewhere around 9 to 10 satoshis per byte as my high priority. Again, high priority should almost guarantee you in the next block. My medium priority would be something like 7 to 8, and my low priority would be something like 6 to 5.
Yeah, you can click on the next block, for example, here, and you can see the distribution of the transaction fees in that block.
So what the hell is this? Like, who are these people? Why are they grossly overpaid? Who is paying 3,000 satoshis per byte?
I have no idea. Maybe it's fat fingers or something. But there's
like,
always one guy.
Is that?
There's always some guy that are very in hurry.
Can we tell how many of these dumb transactions there are? Or we don't know.
It's hard to say. I can't say exactly because
these are the people that kind of mess it up. These are the people that make it seem like Bitcoin is expensive because some people grossly overpay, and that skews the average Bitcoin fee.
The fee here is based on like the median fee from like in the middle of the block here. That's why it's
okay. You're using median. You're not using the mean. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a median here. So that's why it's 10 right now. So it's taking in the middle. That's why you get a. Doesn't matter what the big chunk in the end here.
I'm learning all this stuff about this website. This is awesome.
And you can see it's all based on color as well. You can see the big fat, the heavy, more expensive transactions are in a different color, and you can see as the expensive grows. So this is going all from green to red, from cheap to expensive. So you can just glance on the website and get a feel for how high the fees are.
Hey, have you thought about? Is this always approximately 10 minutes?
Yeah,
that's a default, right?
Yes, yes, default. Yeah, because the next block is always statistically the next block is always in the 10 minutes, no matter from where you count from.
Again, statistically, right? Yeah. But right now we've had how many blocks? So right now there's clearly more mining going on.
If you close this one, you can see.
Have you thought about? Like for example, Bitcoin difficulty changes every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. So.
You can see the difficulty here if you close this one.
If I close this,
here's the difficulty meter.
Right. So what does this mean?
It means that we are now 6% faster than it on the mean. So that's why you see the green chunk here. That is the unexpected faster than exactly 1 block per 10 minutes. So if it continues, the next difficulty adjustment is gonna adjust the difficulty up 6%.
But do we know when that's going to happen? Do you have an estimate? When the green runs out.
No, when the blue reaches here. When the
I didn't see that. Sorry, we're in the sun, so it's still there. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a 2-week period there.
Okay, so what does the green represent?
It just represent that this is the much overmined.
Oh, so this is the overmined part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have it here. Cause I was like thinking, I'm like, man, if you can adjust this time, and if we can see that this is like 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, it should be. It actually is right now, 9.5 minutes. So I should update that live.
You should update this line because then you can shorten the word minutes just to the letter M or MIN, and then you can fit approximately 9.5 minutes, and this tells like someone like me, oh, we're mining faster than normal. That would be really cool.
Yeah. I've been thinking of it before.
Yeah. You should definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so we got to talk about Ethereum a little bit. Then we're going to talk about light. Okay, no, sorry. I'm always all over the place in these interviews. Can we please, this is one of the things that someone said it to me a while ago, and it was a good friend of mine in the space, Mr. Hodel. Mr. Hodel is like one of the ultimate trolls that's been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I think he was the one that first explained to me, Tone, you have to understand that the Bitcoin fee is denominated in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So when some shitcoin whose value is $1 claims how cheap their fees are, it's calculated in the value of that shitcoin. So what I always tell people is you have the lowest level of Bitcoin, which is Satoshi, and the lowest level of Bcash, which I call the VAR. So SAT versus VAR. VER. And just by the simple fact that because one Satoshi, one sat is what, 1,000 times more expensive, 100 times more expensive. It's like so it's like 99% more expensive than the VER. That automatically makes Bitcoin like 100 times more expensive to transact in.
Well, you have the minimum fee of 1 Satoshi per byte, and that right now is just 10 cents or something, or 1 cent.
No. Well, no. The minimum fee is 1 Satoshi technically, but
yeah,
but no one can use that. You'll never get it through.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
1 Satoshi per byte is still going to be. I've tried that. Those transactions will not go through, guys. Do not use 1 Satoshi per byte. Use it. I say do not go lower than 5 Satoshis per byte. And most wallets
5 has been too low this past few months now. So,
but at least with 5, you can in a few weeks it may happen.
Yeah, I mean we have this minimum fee here as well. So now the mempool is not super full, but when the mempool gets too full, this is coming from the Bitcoin Core node. So when the mempool is too large, it's starting to kick out all the 1 sats, the 2 sats. So that's why you sending a 1 or 2 sat, it's dangerous now. It might just simply be kicked out of the network.
So many questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain how? And I tried to explain this to like some new people, and then I ended up getting into the weeds. Can you explain how Bitcoin fees work with Satoshis per byte, and then based on how many inputs you have, how many outputs you have, what makes you could send a transaction at 10 Satoshis per byte, and it could cost you 3 cents. And you can send a transaction at 5 Satoshis per byte at half price, and it can cost you $5.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that?
Yeah. Well, the block space in the blockchain is scarce, and what you're paying for is space in the block, right? So the bigger your transaction is, the more data you want to chunk into the blockchain, the more you have to pay. You're paying per byte. So that's why it says Satoshis per byte.
What makes a transaction bigger than another transaction? Because it's not the amount of money you're sending.
No. It's mostly about the signature data. So for every input you're spending from different inputs in your wallets, like called UTXOs. Maybe some random people have sent you some money, and you have like 5 guys, and now you want to send all that to a new address. That will be 5 UTXOs. You need to spend all those. And all those 5 UTXOs require you to send the signature of your private key to prove that you are the owner of this address. So that's why the more inputs in a transaction, the more signature data, and the heavier the transaction is, and the more expensive it's going to be. So it's mostly about that. So.
And can you just define what a UTXO is? Because we have a lot of new.
It just stands for what is it? Unspent transaction output.
Output.
When you're receiving a transaction, you're getting an unspent transaction output in your wallet, and when you're spending those coins, you have to spend the full amount. You have to spend the full UTXO, so it becomes a spent transaction output. So there's only spent and unspent. You cannot spend half a UTXO. That's why you have required a change output to create a new UTXO.
If you want to learn more about all this terminology in layman terms, please check out the book Bitcoin Clarity by Kiara Bickers. I always mess up her last name. Kiara Bickers, Bitcoin Clarity. I'll probably pull up the book on Amazon. I have an interview with Kiara on this podcast, so you can Google Tone Vays Kiara, and you can check out that interview on her book Bitcoin Clarity. Okay, so just so I can summarize what you said, is that if you are a merchant that sells coffee, and you are a very popular coffee merchant, because for some reason everyone wants to pay for their coffee in Bitcoin on chain, God knows why, but you're getting all of these $5 payments, 12 if you're Starbucks, $5 payments in Bitcoin, and they're all your UTXOs. So you sit there and you collect all of these $5 payments in Bitcoin, and now you're sitting with $5,000 worth of Bitcoin in your wallet from 1,000 coffee sales. And now you want to move your entire $5,000. That transaction is going to be grossly expensive because you are combining 1,000 UTXOs into a single transaction.
Right.
And each one of those transactions takes up a shit ton of space. Well, it depends how each of those transactions was made. So that's a lot of space you're going to take up. And if you do this transaction on a Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to pay through the nose. So this is the kind of transaction you want to make over the weekend where fees are cheap, and you should never let it even get to that level. Or better yet, use Lightning for these $5 transactions, which we'll get to in our next topic. But if it's the reverse, if you have $5,000 in your wallet and you want to make a $5 transaction from your one UTXO of $5,000, that transaction is going to be very, very cheap because you have one input in that transaction and not 1,000 inputs in that transaction.
Yeah. And in this scenario with the coffee payments, Lightning can't make more sense because it's all about consolidating all the Lightning payments into just one UTXO.
Yeah.
So
look at that. The median fee in the last block was 69.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because that was only an 8-minute wait time between the prior 4 blocks, which only had 8 cents per byte. So can we like look at the similar breakout or no? Do you have one of those charts?
I have it, but it's hidden. I have to display it.
Ah.
But you would probably get in with at least 10, as you can see here. So the minimum of what got you into the block.
Oh, so that shows you the minimum,
yeah,
and that shows you the maximum.
The whole span of
and
the block.
that happened. This is the mean, the medium, the median, right?
Exactly.
Can you do a? Can you also stick? I know there's running out of room here, but the weight adjusted mean, or is that like a weird concept?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep it simple and use one metric here.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so that's interesting that the median was 69, but
so
10 cent got you in. I like this. Wow, I actually did not even notice that. This is really cool. This is gonna be way. I'm so glad I did this interview. I'm gonna be way more useful in telling you guys what the median or what the fees are next time I pull up this website on my channel. All right. Before we get to the shit coins like Ethereum, let's talk about Lightning.
Yeah.
No, wait. Shit. No. Replaced by fee and child pays for parent.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that demonize those. Can you just explain them real quick? And are you a supporter of both of them? And should every wallet have them?
Every wallet should have replaced by fee. Like, let's say, maybe you can pull up a random transaction here. And someone's sending a transaction. And I actually show here that if the transaction has replaced by fee or lacks it. Like if it's red, it's bad. If it's this transaction is bad because it has no SegWit and it's no replaced by fee. And you can see here, you could have saved 53% of fees if you just use SegWit. So, and if you have used replaced by fee, you could have increased the fee on this transaction. So, yeah, you were asking about replaced by fee, and I can say that there's a lot of people recently when the fees are going up that come to us and say, hey, my transaction is stuck. What do I do? And usually they're using a bad old wallet that doesn't have replaced by fee itself. But let's say using a new wallet like Electrum, Blockstream Green, or Blue Wallets, or the Trezor Seat. If you use some of those that are using a replaced fee, you can simply, if your transaction gets stuck,
have it?
I think so. I'm not sure. But if your transaction gets stuck, the fee suddenly rises and your transaction gets back in the backlog. You can, without paying any extra fee, you can just increase the fee and your transaction will be replaced with a new transaction with a higher fee, just with a click. It's very simple. And it will help you a lot when your transaction gets stuck.
A lot of people are afraid of replaced by fee because it creates an opportunity for a double spend.
Yeah, but
or not a double spend, like you know what I mean, like a
that's
a fake spend. Like I send you a very small fee. I send you a 1 sat per byte, and then I send the same Bitcoin to someone else 1 sat per byte, and then I bump one of them.
Yeah, well, of course, that is the double spend problem that many people have been fighting about. And usually a lot of big blockers, big cachers are saying, hey, you have replaced by fee, that's bad. But actually what they're not telling you is that replaced by fee is not a consensus rule to Bitcoin. It's just an implementation in the wallet and between the miners that Bcash has as well. So you could as well double spend a Bcash transaction as easy. You just have to enable it.
Well, it's way easier because no one uses that shit.
It just makes it easier. That's the only thing with the replace by fee feature. Because as long as the transaction is in the mempool, it is never considered secure. And that's why we have the blockchain in the first place. That solved the double spend problem. So when it has one confirmation or two in the blockchain, you are very sure that it is secure. But while it's unconfirmed, you can never trust it. Doesn't matter if it's on Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin or replaced by fee or not. You can never be sure. But it's just about, like, it may be more like if you trust the person and he didn't enable replace by fee, maybe the chance is higher that he can't do a double spend. But in all, you could never, if you run an online store selling Tesla cars, Tesla could never accept Bcash payments on zero conf, like, because that would be too unsecure.
Oh, of course.
They had to wait for confirmations. Oh yeah. So I mean, the whole thing that replaced by fee is bad because it's mostly FUD actually. And now when the fee market is alive and well, like there's a fee market, there's transaction fees are high. People need to use this tool so that they can maybe start out with a lower fee and then they can start bumping the fee slowly and get to the right fee. So this is something all wallets need to have.
What about child pays for parent?
Yeah, that's another technique where if you make a low fee transaction and you can't bump it using replace by fee, then let's say if you get a change output back to yourself, then you can make a new transaction spending the change outputs, which with a higher fee, so it will come like a chain. Like you have the parent transaction you just made, and then you have a second child transaction you just made, which has higher fees. So the miner can't include the child, not without including the parent. But to the miner's point of view, it's more economical to include both of them. So the child is paying for the parent to get included.
But the example you just gave says that the person who sent the low fee transaction activates child pays for parent. Can it also be done by the receiver?
It's only the receiver that can do it.
It's only the receiver that can do it, not the sender.
Exactly. So because you have to, like, let's say you see unconfirmed coins in your wallet you received. Now you can actually spend those to a third person, and that is a child pay for parent. But maybe you don't know it. And if you're increasing the fee, you're bumping the previous transaction. So that is the technique to bump, but I don't like it because it costs you an extra transaction for no reason. So you're spamming the blockchain with like 2 transactions when it could have just been 1, right? So
you prefer replace by fee method.
Everyone
all right, guys. So if you're watching, please, when you're selecting a Bitcoin wallet, add that to your criteria. And if you are using a wallet that does not yet have replace by fee, or as a second option, child pays for parent, you may want to, notify that wallet to get their shit together. But before that, if you are using a wallet that doesn't even have SegWit, you really want to notify them to get their shit together. And I gotta say, the slow priority trend is killing me right now. To me, it should be about 10 to 15 cents at maximum. All right, that's all right. This is why fee estimation is so hard. Yeah, it is really hard. And the more you,
I think this is pretty safe if you're very uncertain and you don't know this stuff. It's very safe. But if you're skilled, like maybe yourself, and you're making transactions often, you should learn to like interpret what you see here, and you can make your own decision.
And this is why we're doing these videos, and this is why I'm dying to start the Understanding Bitcoin podcast to teach people more and more. Okay, still gonna get to the shitcoins later. Let's talk about Lightning, and then we got to talk about sidechains. So let's talk about Lightning first. You're a fan of Lightning? Do you use Lightning?
Yeah. Yes, on both those guys.
Yes, on both. Okay. So a lot of people say that Lightning transactions are not Bitcoin transactions. What do you say to those people?
They are Bitcoin transactions. Actually, Lightning transactions are Bitcoin transactions that are kept off-chain, and you update the balance of the Bitcoin transactions. And at the later point in time, you can publish the transaction back to the blockchain when you want to settle. So no, it's just plain wrong. Yeah, it's actual Bitcoin transaction.
Are you happy with how Lightning development is progressing? Do you think it's a little too slow?
It's easy to be critical, like, hey, why isn't it coming out? But hey, we are building this new financial system and open source software, like collaboratively between much of different companies sharing a spec. And actually, if you're comparing to other software like Linux or I don't know, all this, it's actually super blazing fast how it's going. And all these past few years, we got tons of new wallets. We got the Phoenix wallet, we got the Moon wallet, we got the.
I'm not even familiar with those because I'm still not a Lightning user, but I need to be. So are there wallets do you recommend? Which wallets do you use? Everyone loves the Blue wallet, but the knock on a Blue wallet, it's a kind of custodial.
Yeah, Blue wallet and the wallet of Satoshi are two popular custodial wallets. And if you use a non-custodial wallets, you usually have to make the channel management stuff yourself, which can be very tricky and expensive when the transaction fees are high. And if you want to use a non-custodial wallet, I can just recommend the Phoenix wallet. It's only for Android right now. It's going to come out with iOS very soon. And you don't have to, it's non-custodial. You have the private key, but you don't have to care about the channel. You just make an on-chain deposit and immediately magically turns into Lightning. And you can then start spending Lightning. And also, you can also spend on-chain. It swaps automatically for you seamlessly between the both networks. So it's a wallet.
All right, so I gotta look into the Phoenix wallet then.
Yeah.
But it's funny how you said Android, and that just so this morning I was reminded, if I go to my own profile, and of course I was really angry about the vaccine passports. You are as well, yes or no?
Yeah. No passports.
Right, no vaccine. I was just reminded about this tweet by Mary Fox Crypto, how in 2014 Apple banned all Bitcoin wallets,
that was a good reason
and now in 2021 they're supporting Bitcoin. And I replied with videos of people destroying. This is from CNN, and this is literally clips of people taking machetes and shooting their iPhones. But were you around for this, or you weren't in the crypto space?
I don't remember this.
You don't remember this? All right,
no,
so check this out.
No, I wasn't.
I'm not.
But I remember that they banned Bitcoin wallets, and I was like, okay, I can never get an iPhone. So.
There's no audio, but this is literally a CNN video of people smashing their iPhones back in like the 2014 days of, and like some people are using them for target practice on their high range rifles. Yeah. So yeah, those were the days of 2014 when Apple banned it, and like a lot of people started just using Android.
Cool. Yeah, it seems it's very popular right now. Use the Android and the Pixel phones. They are highly recommended because you can also run it without Google if you want.
All right, you know what? Maybe I'll set up my first Lightning wallet. I'll try the Phoenix one. I mean, I am friends with the guys from Blue Wallet, and
yeah. I mean, there's some criticism to the custodial wallets, like when you're actually just having an account at them.
Right. So with the Phoenix one, it's a self-custody.
Exactly.
And is it easy to close the channel?
It's as easy as using Blue Wallet, I'd say.
Oh, excellent. All right. So there you go. I've waited long enough to avoid Lightning transaction. It's about time. So I no longer look silly when people ask me, do you use Lightning? And maybe I should start looking into that. Now, obviously, Lightning transactions are faster and cheaper. They are virtually instant, if not instant.
Yeah.
They're as instant as you can get. They are incredibly cheap. Now, what about privacy?
Well, I mean, I compared to Bitcoin on-chain, it's much, much more private, because if I'm making a Lightning transaction right now to a node, there's no one in the world that saw that transaction happening. Like on the blockchain, you can see everything that's happening forever. But on Lightning, it's totally private. But it is not private between you and the one you're paying, and it might not be private. You might reveal also to the nodes in between. So the Lightning privacy is great, but it could be much better. And there are like suggested solutions for making Lightning like almost as private as Monero in the future. But so it's getting better and better.
Hey, should we look up Phoenix Wallet?
Yeah, sure. I think they have a.
Do you know how to spell their Twitter handle? Is it like?
Yeah, search for Phoenix Wallet. I think they have.
It's not this, right? Phoenix Crypto Bitcoin TM.
No, search Bitcoin Phoenix Wallet. Oh, well. Oh yeah, that one.
This one.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So there we go. They will get a follow from me.
Yeah,
and all right, there it is. Because I'm always like, again, it's hard to no, like even I'm hesitant of recommending wallets to people. People are like, Tom, what's the best wallet? I'm like, well, I don't want to be responsible in case there was another Ledger freaking hack. Thank God I never recommended Ledger to anyone. But it wasn't because I knew their database would get hacked. It's just that I was not a fan of that wallet personally. I don't find it very user-friendly.
The Lightning mainnet came out in 2018, and just now it's starting to become more and more easier and better. And I think in the coming years it's going to get even better. So, and remove all the technical stuff from the users so it can become more seamless.
All right, so now let's talk about side chains of Bitcoin, specifically Liquid, unless you want to talk about others. We don't have time to talk about others.
Go back to Mempool.
Let's go back to Mempool.
We are trying to like integrate, like be a full cover
every time I see this, it scares me that it's Bcash, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a testnet. But yeah, we're trying to cover all the networks on top of Bitcoin. So we have the base layer, the Bitcoin on-chain base layer, which is going to be this immutable, secure layer.
Are these the blocks going through Liquid right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So people are so unfamiliar with Liquid. I can yap about this a little bit, but I just know all the good parts. Yeah. So why don't you just explain Liquid to us?
Yeah, Liquid is a sidechain to Bitcoin, and it's actually a fork of the Bitcoin source code. So it behaves just like the Bitcoin network, but it has some extended functionality. So it has support for assets, tokens, and the smart contracts, and there's more stuff coming up. And also it doesn't have a real mining. So it has this consortium of Liquid members that are taking turns mining a block. And it's always one block every minute. And the transaction fees are 0.1 Satoshis per byte.
Wow.
So it's very cheap and it's very fast. So, I mean,
it's kind of like a proof of, it's not even proof of stake, but there's no new Bitcoin being minted. It's just it's just a federated chain of miners.
It's important to know that compared to like altcoins and shitcoins, this doesn't have their own shitcoin. It has the actual Bitcoin,
right,
called LBTC, which is liquid Bitcoin. This is like pegged in Bitcoin.
Right.
So as soon as you pegged in, you can easily swap to other tokens like Tether if you want to use stablecoin. So I mean, obviously this second layer is not as secure as the base layer, but I think it doesn't really matter, because the most important thing is to keep the base layer super, super secure and immutable, right? To protect the monetary policy. But then when we build this on top of layers, we can go like less secure, maybe. And I've seen Liquid, it hasn't been very used. You see this just...
Right, are you seeing it used a little bit more or not really?
If you click on this one, I mean, there was just one transaction in this block, latest block.
How do you know there was just one?
Because,
it literally says two transactions.
And the first one is a Coinbase transaction by the miner. So
what does that mean, a Coinbase transaction by the miner? Because there's no new, because you can't mint Liquid.
No, but you can only get the transaction fees from the transaction. Yeah.
Oh, so the Coinbase is the fee transaction.
Yeah. So
that's a big fee.
200 sats. Yeah. LBTC. So yeah, someone made a transaction, and as you can see here, also the transactions are confidential on Liquid, so you can't even see the amounts here.
Okay. So here are the high level advantages of Liquid. All of those people that talk about how private Monero is.
Yeah.
This is more private. For starters, once you send your Bitcoin into the Liquid sidechain, it's like the ultimate coin join.
Yeah, it is.
And then when you get your Bitcoin out of the Liquid sidechain, that is... Because the only way to get Monero is to go through an exchange, and they know who you are. You have identifying marks. Like getting in and out of Monero is like a KYC transaction, but getting in and out of Liquid anonymizes the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, you could use BISC's decentralized exchange to change from Bitcoin to Monero. So there's maybe some alternative, but yeah, this is the ultimate coin join, and it's cheap.
Yeah.
And I mean, now in the Bitcoin, everyone knows that the Bitcoin transaction fees is going to fluctuate. So more and more infrastructure that are relying on Bitcoin is going to get tougher. Like we've seen recently that the HODL platform introduced their lending service. So you have a total peer-to-peer lending. You have buyers and takers of borrowing and loaning Bitcoin and USD Tether, and they're using everything is on just Liquid. So that makes it like this whole app that can scale much, much better, right? All transactions being done there are just off-chain on Liquid sidechain instead of the Bitcoin chain.
Otherwise, Tether is already on top of the Liquid sidechain.
Yeah, exactly.
But what people don't realize is you can build your shitcoin and what's the popular stuff these days? NFTs, and your ICO tokens, if anyone's still doing them. You can build that stuff on top of Liquid.
Yeah, you can mint your own token, and here we list some of the tokens. We filtered out all the crap just to show the more useful ones, like the Tether. That you have the Liquid Bitcoin, you have some stable coins to different fiat currencies here.
Right, and that's what we want to do. Like, not that I want to create a tone-based shitcoin, but like as a thought experiment, like at the upcoming Understanding Bitcoin conference, I was thinking of creating maybe 100 tone-based tokens on top of Liquid, and each one is redeemable for like 1 hour of my time. And they can even
tokenize yourself.
Yeah, I can tokenize each token. Like I gotta be careful not to have this token infinitely divisible, because then someone can request 3 seconds of my time. Which could get annoying.
I think you can decide that how you can divide it.
So as a thought, I was like, hey, how many hours of my time do I want to tokenize? And then do I want to try to like, if an exchange adds this token to their platform, will my time now have a free market value of my available hours?
You see, now you're starting to learn about the benefits of blockchains and tokens, are you?
Well, a little bit, right? But at least this is a real use case, and it's actually backed by something, unless I die, of course, and then that time is worthless. But but it's interesting, and I would only build something like that on top of Bitcoin. I have to check with some lawyers to make sure I did not turn myself into a breaking security laws. But once the legal side of that pans out, this could be potentially an actual use case for a token.
Yeah, except that you probably could have just handed out paper. You probably wouldn't need a blockchain for it. But the benefits for the blockchain is probably because it's a unified infrastructure. There are already exchanges that have Liquid, and you can switch between tokens, and you have the wallet. So
damn, I just got schooled in the benefits of a blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, this is. So you have the only benefits of the blockchain is probably this infrastructure, but you don't need a blockchain if you need, I don't know.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
The infrastructure, well, this is also why people are using Ethereum. It's for the infrastructure. It's not for the decentralized effort.
No, they don't care about that because they're moving to Tron and Binance, because they don't care about Ethereum decentralization.
Right. Well, Cardano and Polkadot and like whatever comes out next week. Exactly. That's exactly right. Because if I really wanted to do this, I can sell this token on my own server, on my own database, through my own website.
Exactly.
You can buy, like, I have 100 hours of my time available, and I'll sell an hour of my time every day, and it's just an auction. And then on my website, you can sell the hour of my time to someone else on my website. And I don't need a decentralized blockchain for that.
It just makes it easier when some people are already doing it. But so, I mean, because the blockchain are always suffering with Oracle problems, because you can at any point in time say, oh, I don't care about that token anymore, and suddenly the token is worthless. So the blockchain didn't protect anything. They didn't protect value.
Right.
Or something.
So it's the same thing here. If I put my token on the blockchain, I can cryptographic, maybe with the Liquid sidechain and some software, I can maybe technologically prove that I will not release any more tokens, which is bullshit. I can always do that. But the ultimate arbitrator, is this token worthless? Am I honoring the hour of my time to the token? Because I can say, nope, I'm not gonna do a consulting call with you, and the value of that token just goes to zero. So what happened to EOS, right? They all said, yeah, we're just gonna leave it to the community. You guys can program it. Like, so what's the value of the token now?
Okay, no, it's down. Yeah, but it's
still higher than Monero, though.
I found it very hilarious to see that Ethereum has all these miners and stuff. It's very slow and expensive and high fee, just like Bitcoin, even more than Bitcoin. And then suddenly Binance shows up to say, hey, we're going to clone the whole Ethereum VM and move all the smart contracting from Ethereum.
Binance is way more centralized, so it makes complete sense to get off Ethereum and go to a more centralized platform.
Like people don't really care. They just move over and they're using it. Oh, it's much faster and
well, of course, because it's more centralized, just like with Cardano, right? Like this is the same concept, because the problem with Ethereum is their upcoming fork. And we have a friend that was mining some Ethereum, and when Ethereum recently decided to do their fork to lower the inflation rate or something, he like texted the mining pool and said, hey, I want to stay on the original chain.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, you don't have a choice. We're going to do what the lead developer wants. Like whatever Vitalik says goes. So what do you think is going to happen in the upcoming fork of Ethereum where Vitalik wants to eliminate mining? I think there's going to be, obviously, there's going to be a fork. And I've been talking about this fork in forever because the miners, why would they want to stop? So the miners are going to try to convince the world that the projects on top of Ethereum now are safer on the mining chain because without Vitalik, first of all, they're going to be more decentralized. The whole Ethereum, no Vitalik, is more decentralized. I don't. That may or may not be better, but it's clearly more decentralized. Mining does add security to your blockchain, even if it adds a shit ton of inefficiency. It's still more secure.
Yeah, and it's proof of work is coming to this decentralized consensus, and proof of stake won't be as secure. And I think everyone knows that. But yeah,
well, not everyone. Vitalik doesn't.
They're probably going to be this split in the network, like just like with Ethereum Classic. They're going to be some guy. But the thing is with Ethereum is that everyone, just like mine, they just go where the leads say.
Yeah.
So I think 95 or 99% of they use the network network effect. It's just going to follow this main network chain with Ethereum 2.0. That's like inevitable. They are just slaves to where everything goes, and they can't reject it because that's where the value is going to be. So.
And I have to look at the Bitcoin price because apparently it's moving. We're gonna find out in which direction it's moving. That's what's been causing the bump. Yeah, people are like screaming for me to look at the price. So we're gonna go look at the price. Oh, but last word on Ethereum. If the fork of Ethereum happens and Vitalik has the ultimate trademark on ETH, when the ticker ETW shows up, Ethereum work, I'm gonna want a royalty payment because I've been talking about that for 4 years.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's look at the price, guys. Anything else you want to add? We're going to get back to you for closing statements in a second, Simon. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, 59K. Beautiful. So as I said yesterday, I was becoming very, very bullish yesterday. I am 100% allocated into GBTC. I am back to being a full-on bull. The daily chart yesterday, once I was convinced that the daily chart yesterday was closing above the moving average, I had confidence that Bitcoin is going to go higher. We are now, this is how amazing this is. At current price, if Bitcoin closes at the price you see right now in 13 hours, it will be the second highest daily closing price in Bitcoin's history.
Wow.
Okay. And then there's only one to go. And we still have room on the MRI daily. The weekly chart now has a green star. I am now bullish on the weekly scale. I am bullish on the daily scale. This is the 4-hour scale. Let's look at that one first. I am obviously bullish on the 4-hour scale. We just had a 4-candle consolidation with a little bit of a drop. Another green star that makes me bullish as well as part of the indicator. And on the 1-hour chart, I am, of course, bullish by breaking and closing above the resistance line. Now, keep in mind, in 3 hours from now, the hourly chart will reach a little bit of a top for a potential 1 to 4 candle correction, followed by more upside. So I am very bullish in the market. Do you have any thoughts on the price, Simon?
No, I'll let you have the price. Yeah.
All right. That's it for the price. I will glance at the price of gold, and it's doing very, very poorly. And so I don't really care. And GBTC is going to open nicely once the market opens in about 3 hours. And the stock market is probably doing pretty good as well in the futures. Let's see. Yep, at an all-time high in the stock market as well. So there you go, guys. That is the quick update. We're going to go back to, how do I get back to the homepage?
Oh, yeah, change the mainnet here.
Oh, change this one to mainnet. Okay, cool. All right, we're still getting blocks like crazy, but hey, price pumped and the transactions went up. Wow, lowest fee was 69 sats.
Yeah.
and the average fee, the median fee was also 69 cents. Look at that. But 30 minutes ago, you could have got in for 10. Oh, there was a 30-minute gap.
Yeah.
Look at that. There was a 30-minute gap. That's why.
Time to build up a queue there.
Yeah, we had a 30-minute wait between blocks. Wow, we were on this long without looking at this? Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts? I would love to do this again with you one of these days.
Yeah.
Guys, these are the kinds of podcasts I really want to start doing. The Understanding Bitcoin podcast would, we could have spent 1 hour on each topic we discussed today. We could have spent 1 hour diving deep into this stuff. And I think a podcast like that is badly, badly needed. I will try to bring that to you in the near future, but everyone still wants to know where the price is going. Closing thoughts, Simon. I can leave this on. I can turn this off, guys.
No,
don't
just
forget,
leave the main side on.
I'll leave. There's a QR code gonna pop up, right?
No, you have to individually get it your own one.
Oh, okay.
So you can show it to your.
Oh, hey, speaking of which, you're more into. I heard that you can have like a QR code displayed that actually change. That's actually an HD that changes after every transaction. Is that true or is that bullshit?
Yeah, you can do whatever. And even with Lightning, there's going to be static invoices, so you can have like static QR code you can send Lightning to, like that.
Okay, no, I'm looking for the opposite. I'm looking to like create a QR code, a dynamic QR code, so that every time someone pays into it, and the next time someone loads my website, the QR changes automatically.
Yeah, of course, you can do that. Yeah.
All right, think about that. Hey guys, if you want to support this project, become a sponsor. It's only 0.001 Bitcoin minimum.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
like
yeah, something like that. And
All
001 if you want to show your Twitter profile photo here on the sponsors page.
May need to raise that number. But yeah, guys, please support. Not sure why all the pictures didn't show up this time. I probably have to reload. But
I want to say that if you're looking for fee estimation, if you're tracking your transaction, you should go to mempool.space to do it, because we don't have any third-party trackers. We don't have any banner ads compared to the other alternatives. And you don't have to trust us, because you can run this solution on your Raspberry Pi node or your Linux node. We are available on Umbrel, on my node, on Raspberry Pi Blitz, on Ronin Dojo. And on Umbrel is the easiest. You can just click, after you synced your node, you just one-click install, and you got the full Mempool Explorer. And everything you do, you look up transactions, you look up addresses, you check for transaction fees, everything coming straight for your node, giving you full privacy of what you're doing. So that is what we are encouraging people to do.
Awesome. All right, guys. Also, please go ahead and follow Soft Simon on Twitter. There's a sort of profile. Links are, of course, how come I'm not following Mempool?
Yeah,
I'm following you, but
so we're at Mempool on Twitter, and I am at Soft Simon _ and of course at
probably
Vays.
should tag Mempool. Check it out. Thank you so much for the interview. This was absolutely great.
Yeah, it was
I know
cool
I learned a few things. I hope you guys did as well. And please look out for these grassroots Bitcoin projects, because these are the things that separate Bitcoin.
It's a new movement right now. We're taking back the sovereignty and rebuilding all these crappy services like blockchain.com, BitPay. We are replacing those and running it all self-sovereignty. And you only see this in the Bitcoin space. You don't see it in any other projects. They don't care about decentralization and this stuff. So
exactly, they just care about how much of their own token they get rich of.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it for us. Thank you so much for watching. We are in the Dubai Marina. It's time for us to go grab a little bit of food. There's also a meetup tonight in downtown. Hold on, I'm going back to screen share. If you go to tonebase.com and you go over to my calendar, you will see the details for tonight's meetup. It is down here. God knows how many people are going to show up. It is the pre-event to CC Forum. I am one of the speakers. You can click on this, and actually, I don't know where it will take you. It'll take you back to my website, because there's nowhere to register. You just show up. Okay, so there it is. The picture could have been clearer. That still takes you back to my website. So this is absolutely no help. 8 p.m. party at a place called VII. Just Google VII, known as V. But it's on the 7th floor of the Conrad Hotel. And that's where we will be as well. You can find myself, you can find Simon there. It'll be great. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you all on the next one.
Thank you.